name is Ben Wright, and I'm acting on behalf of the Veterans Breakfast Club. And today we're absolutely delighted to have as our guest David Truman Cuff, who is a World War II veteran. And we always love to have World War II veterans because a lot of what we want to do is preserve their stories. And so we're going to have a real treat today for David to tell us his story. Well, David, to start off, you were in the Army Air Corps or Army Air Forces as they began to change the names in World War II and had a very unique start in it. So, what attracted you to go into the Air Forces in World War II?
Well, my two brothers.
Okay.
They said, enlist in the Air Force. I had a brother that got shot up at New Guinea,
Okay.
paraplegic. They carried him out over the Owen Stanley Mountains and down to Melbourne, Australia, and he was there for I don't really know how.
Was this an older brother or younger brother? And did he go in the military before you or
Older.
after you?
Older. He was 9 years older than I did.
Okay, so he probably went in the military before you did.
Yeah. Well, he was in the guard.
Okay.
And when the whistle blew, he was activated. They went to down in Louisiana, and they didn't have any equipment, no uniforms or virtually nothing down there. They were trading with broomsticks and anything else they could get.
Oh my.
And they were supposed to go to Europe, and they went up to go to Europe, and then they were up in Massachusetts, and when Japs hit Morocco, they changed that. They went out. And
So after the Battle of Midway, rather than going to Europe, he went to the Pacific.
Yeah. I ended up in the Army Air Force. I went in when I was 18 in November. Don't know the exact date that I went in, but I thought I could get into the Air Force. That was right when the gliders were hot.
Yes, sir.
Just started, and turned out that they said it was amblyopic left eye, so they weren't going to take me for Air Force. So that's when the glider program was just starting. This was still kind of a dream program. We were assigned to the troop carrier groups, the C-47, as a tow aircraft with the gliders and carry
the paratroopers.
And when the glider program came into it by the tow the gliders.
How did you get involved in that?
I enlisted and went through basic training, and I didn't get into it. I was put into it by.
So you were non-volunteer for the gliders.
I didn't volunteer. No.
Well, now, Dave, did you start out training in the glider, or did you have some fired aircraft flight first?
No. I went right into the glider school.
Okay.
And we were at Texas.
Yes, sir.
And I went through school there.
Were
Sorry.
the gliders your first choice?
No, it wasn't my choice.
Okay.
So I went through the glider school. Then we started assembling gliders.
So what was your first mission then?
Well, when we got through the class, the next step was to test the product and simulated combat. How they'd be loaded, and how we would use them in combat.
So how did you like flying the glider? Did you like the way that it handled after your
Oh,
previous
yeah.
flying experience?
Yes, my experience with them, they were a very efficient machine. They were very meticulously put together.
He said one glider came in 22 boxes.
Well, that's when we went overseas. I went in at
Casablanca.
Casablanca. Yes.
1943.
Yeah.
And you were there to participate in Operation Torch,
Yeah.
which was, of course, our first combat operation in Europe in World War
Yeah.
II. So you were right there for the start of American involvement.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you got to Casablanca?
Well, we there's a big bluff there back of the beach, and we climbed up to the top of that, and the Arabs were waiting for us up there, wondering what we were going to do. And there was a ring of natives around to watch the show, and we dug our trenches and or slit trenches for sanitary purposes, and we set up tents we didn't know what we were going to do there or where we were going. But it was kind of a test operation.
To see how the gliders would perform.
Yes. Our part of it was launching the gliders.
Well, Dave, maybe you can share with us some of your experience flying the
Yeah.
gliders in North Africa.
Yeah. Well, we assembled them there.
Okay, so they
But,
came on the ships and you assembled them.
But what they came over in crates.
The way he described it is they were loaded on these transport trucks and had to climb up a mountain with trucks full of, because there's 22 boxes per glider times 22 gliders. So that's a lot of boxes of stuff, parts.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Every bit of it
that's
was a
quite
challenge.
a kit to put together and a whole bunch of kits.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure that took a while.
Yes, it didn't take too long actually. But inspected them, and then we took them to the air, and the people that assembled them had to go along for the ride.
Okay, very good. So you got to go for the ride.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Get all that damn nylon rope and a lot of flying.
Well, David, in launching them, what type of aircraft was used to tow the gliders to get them airborne?
C-47.
So it was using the Goonie birds,
You know,
which you got to fly later, I understand.
yes.
How many squadrons did you have?
Yeah, 4.
4 squadrons?
Yes. There were approximately 22 airborne and infantry people assigned at each squadron.
And you remember, even though it was 80 years ago and you were, 20 years old at the time, do you remember all the people that you worked with?
Quite a few of them he's told stories about. You had your favorites, right, Dad?
Yeah.
You know, I've read one of your other interviews, and they talked about at one point they decided they would the burros that they used in North Africa that you ought to try to carrying those on the glider. I can't imagine carrying a burro in an aircraft that might kick your aircraft apart. How was that experience?
Well, I made 3 flights with them, and burros, treat them right. They're pretty docile animal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Were they cooperative getting loaded onto the aircraft?
oh yes, yeah.
How'd they do once you got them airborne?
Yeah, but there are a few of them that got a little excited. And,
Well, what was the general feeling for you and the rest of the people in your squadron about what was happening while you were in North Africa? How'd you feel about it? What did you think about it?
well, at that time, why things were moving pretty fast. Rommel was trying to get into Sicily, and he did. He did pretty well, but he was pushed out of Sicily very quickly.
Well, Dave, of course, at that point in time with Operation Torch, the British were very involved in North Africa. How
Mhm.
was your relationship with the British in North Africa at the time?
My relationship with the British started in the Sicilian invasion.
Okay, with the Sicily invasion. So that was your first
Yeah,
operation, was the invasion of Sicily.
yeah, mhm,
Okay.
yeah. I'd I'd been working with the engineers on some projects with the gliders, and Montgomery, he wanted the the glider pilots to be experienced, so they went in, some with two British pilots, some of them, one American and one British. However, it worked out. But it's kind of a hodgepodge deal.
So did you fly with some British pilots yourself?
Uh, no, I didn't. What happened to me? I got a badly bruised ankle.
Oh my.
Yeah, and the show was over on the uh, initial invasion, but I was left with the engineers. And they were the last people to go in. One of the captains says, "Oh, you don't want to stay here. Why don't you come in with us?" And I ended up. I went in with the engineers, and he says, "All you got to do is when we get there." We went in a sandy beach east of Gala. Their task was to expand the runway, run into kind of into Gala. It was a pretty good runway, but it was too narrow and it was a little too short. And so their task was to expand it with metal. And we got in and we got good support, and that went pretty good. And I ended up when they got the runway open, I was directing traffic.
Oh, this was you were being an air traffic controller or the traffic on the ground?
Yes,
It was on the ground.
on the ground. And everything's fine except I made the mistake of giving a green light to a Messerschmitt. And he'd taken off from
Is it in Germany?
Yeah, so
no,
it was a German Messerschmitt
Italy.
was trying to
Italy.
land there or come in.
Yeah. And he took off from the east and went out around and came down the beach. And when he came over to the crest, at first glance, I thought it was a 51. And I threw him a green light, and he was get him. He was almost at the end of the runway, and he decided to clear his guns. And all he did was just speak quick. And then he went on across and his mission was to support Rommel. Rommel was trying to make his way up the east coast of up the river.
What happened to the German pilot and the Messerschmitt?
Oh, he got shot down.
He got shot down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all ended well for you.
Yeah, not for him, but
And what'd you do in Italy?
We did a drive through Rome to displace the Germans. So that's what we did there.
so he was also involved in D-Day.
Yeah, you wound up going to Europe.
I know he was stationed in Cottesmore, England, when they did the launch on, leading up to D-Day.
What do you remember about D-Day, David? Must have been a time of great excitement.
Yes, it was.
What did you do for D-Day?
The only active was second day. I went on a resupply mission, C-47, and dropped ammunition and food and some Sten guns and
You dropped
You're
it on-
flying airdrop missions.
Hmm?
You're flying airdrop missions and delivering supplies, ammunition and rations and all the things they certainly needed.
yeah.
He also he was part of the group that built those gammon grenades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, David, in the days after D-Day, are there particular things that you did that were particularly memorable for you?
Well, before D-Day, we were at Cottesmore and the engineers, same group of engineers, they were tasked with assembling the gammon grenade. That was a very hairy time.
Not the safest thing in the world to be doing.
Yeah. That was pretty hairy. It went very well, rather well. The worst part of it was they didn't keep the distribution among the paratroopers. They wanted all the gammon grenades that they could carry, which was quite a few. They were kind of sneaking. So some of them had two extra gamma grenades stowed in their bag, sort of bag thing on the base of their leg, and they get an extra grenade or two into that, and a lot of them, they went up with their grenades.
Meaning blew up
Yes.
because they were so easily
Well,
nitroglycerin.
yeah.
And then leading up to D-Day, where you were on the ground in the dark at night launching the invasion.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is right there.
Yeah, there's a gammon grenade. I just brought that up on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
That looked familiar.
Yep.
So it basically was a bomb that was thrown by hand, and you were putting it together with nitroglycerin. That would have been an exciting thing to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's told me some stories about that.
Dangerous stuff. So did you do that for quite a while?
It was part of an assembly line, right?
Yeah.
What did you do next after you and the engineers were putting grenades together? What did you do next?
Oh, as they were assembled and when they were distributed up to the ground paratroopers.
Right. So did they jump with them?
Yes.
Oh my.
And they would have to like let it go before they land, obviously.
Well, the paratroopers subject to ground fire.
So they could lob a grenade on their way
Yeah.
down.
See the original grenade was the German tanks were the thing.
So they were using them against the German tanks was the goal.
Yes, that was. They could disable a tank
Okay.
right now.
Were they effective in doing that?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Knock a track right off of them.
That's great. So did you do some more flying after you got out of the munitions business?
After the war, did you fly?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well, it looks like you flew more. I mean, you flew the gliders, then you flew C-47s, and then what else did you fly while you were during World War II?
Did you ever fly a fighter jet?
No.
Did you ever work on a fighter jet as a
Oh, yeah.
mechanic?
Yeah.
He's been a mechanic probably most of his life.
Yeah. Yeah. So you came home with a new bride from the European theater, from England in particular. And what prompted you to join the Air National Guard?
Well, I took a 5-year sabbatical. Actually,
Okay.
when I got out of I had 4.5 years approximately Africa and England, and by the time in the States before I went overseas. Then my brother that was shot up in New Guinea, was paraplegic. He wanted to move to Florida as soon as they could release from the hospital. So I decided to take care of him. Well,
So you did that for a while. So you were in Florida to do that.
yeah. And then he got married and moved to Chicago, and then he went to school in New York. And so then I come back, and that's right when the Korean War started. My brother had been in the Air Guard. He encouraged me to join the Air Guard again. I did it on the first few days of the Korean War.
That would have been in 1950.
Yeah, 1950.
Oh, did you deploy to Korea?
No, I didn't. That was F-89 fiasco, I should say.
Yeah, it's a fast tricycle, F-89. Did you enjoy working on it?
Yeah, yeah. I had a big time with that thing.
Sure. Well, I'm sure as long as you were in the International Guard, you worked on several aircraft. What else did you work on besides F-89s?
Oh, C-47, the old trainer, T-40.
He was a quality control guy. He said nothing flew without his blessing.
Oh, yes, if you're a maintenance supervisor, you had to okay the work. So I imagine you worked on several different aircraft, other aircraft in the Guard, because Guard units kind of have a habit of changing aircraft pretty frequently.
Yeah.
How'd you like working on the P-40? Quite a bit different from an F-89.
Yeah.
You went in 1940, right after Pearl Harbor, and then you did an amazing variety of things during World War II, going from North Africa to England, and then flying over the Channel in the Atlantic, and then helping the people in Europe after VE Day. I was reading some other interesting things. You were involved in looking for submarines over the North Atlantic, with flying and having observers looking for them. And then after VE Day, you were engaged in processing the freed Jews and Gypsies who had been incarcerated in Buchenwald.
Yeah.
And then you served in the Guard and didn't retire in 1983. So you had almost 40 years of service between your active duty time and your time in the Air National Guard, which is just utterly amazing. So you've been a amazing servant to the country. Well, David, is there anything else, in your long military history, both on active duty and with the Air National Guard. Any particular memories, things that really stand out for you that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
Good.
Just glad you made it back.
I am too.
He said of the glider battalion he was with, only 25% made it back.
Yeah, it was a pretty high casualty rate.
You want to tell him your secret to longevity?
Not dying.
Just don't die. Lots of people have asked him that over,
Oh, yeah.
years. And like, that's as close as you get to. It's
Well,
real.
when did you celebrate your 100th birthday?
Yeah.
August 14th, 2023.
2023. So in August, you're going to be 101. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad that the Lord has blessed you with longevity as well, and a daughter to Betsy to look after you. So we're glad that Betsy was with us as well today. I want to express my personal appreciation to you for your willingness to share your story today, and we'll be proud to include your story with the stories that we have with the Veterans Breakfast Club, and we particularly love World War II veterans and certainly honor World War II veterans, because all of us, even those like myself that were involved in later conflicts, you're still the greatest generation. And so just wanted to thank you so much and for your time with us today. So sure good talking to you today, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.